Snakes and gods. Snakes in Hindu mythology. Snake worship is a tradition being followed in India since ages and is present in several ancient cultures, where snakes are portrayed as an entity of strength. Due to snake's nature of casting its skin, it represents rebirth, death, and mortality. Several Hindu temples houses snake idols and images carved on rocks. These idols and images are worshipped with flowers, diyas, milk, and incense sticks to gain wealth, fame and knowledge. Several Hindu gods and snakes are associated closely, like Lord Shiva is depicted wearing a snake around his neck and Vishnu is seen performing Yoga Nidra on Sheshanag. Medusa and the Gorgons. In Greek mythology, the Gorgons were snake women whose gazes would turn people to stone. They had serpents for hair, long claws, sharp teeth and scales covering their bodies. According to some myths, Medusa, the most famous of the Gorgons, was originally a beautiful woman. Her tryst with the god Poseidon in one of Athena's temples infuriated the virgin goddess, who turned Medusa into a Gorgon as punishment. Athena later helped the hero Perseus slay Medusa, giving him a shiny bronze shield that he used to watch the Gorgon's reflection rather than looking directly at her. After cutting off Medusa's fearsome head, from which her two children with Poseidon, Chrysaor, and Pegasus, emerged, Perseus mounted it on his shield, and used it to paralyze his enemies in battle. Quetzalcoatl. Among the most prominent deities in Mesoamerican cultures, Quetzalcoatl, or feathered serpent, was a mix of bird and rattlesnake. Coatl is the Nahuatl word for serpent. The Aztec god of wind and rain, as well as learning, agriculture, and science, Quetzalcoatl was said to have played a key role in the world's creation. In one version of the creation story, he and another god, Tezcatlipoca, transformed themselves into snakes and ripped a giant sea monster named Cipactli in half. One part of her became the earth, the other the sky. Though the earliest depictions of Quetzalcoatl show him clearly as a snake with a plume of feathers, later cultures represented him in human form. Naga. In the Eastern religions of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, a mythological semi-divine race known as the Naga, Sanskrit for serpent, took half human, half cobra form, although they could shift shapes to fully take on one or the other. The Hindu god Brahma was said to have banished the Naga to their underground kingdom when they became too populous on earth. In Buddhism, Naga were often depicted as protectors of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, and the Dharma, Buddhist teachings, but they were also seen as powerful, and potentially dangerous when angered. Of the many Naga mentioned in the Buddhist scriptures, one particularly famous one was Mukalinda, a Naga king who spread his great cobra hood to shelter the Buddha from a storm that arrived while the prophet was deep in meditation. Snake in the Garden of Eden. A man, a woman, a snake, and a fateful apple. In the Old Testament book of Genesis, a serpent memorably appears in the Garden of Eden, the earthly paradise God created for the first man and woman, Adam and Eve. The cunning snake convinced Eve to eat the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge, telling her that when you eat from it your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. When God learned of Adam and Eve's transgression, he banished both of them from Eden and cursed the snake for its role, saying, "You will crawl on your belly and you will eat dust all the days of your life." Debate has long raged over whether the serpent in Genesis was a literal reptile, an allegory for sexual desire or temptation, or even Satan himself. The legend of the white snake. This ancient Chinese myth tells the story of a powerful female white snake demon who lives underwater but takes human form as Madam White, or Bai Suhen. After Bai falls in love with and marries a mortal man, Su Xian, a Buddhist monk, Fa He, reveals her true identity to her husband. Fa He later kidnaps Su, and traps Bai under his lakeside pagoda, but not before she gives birth to her son with Su, who will eventually free his mother. There are various versions of the legend of the white snake, which has evolved over the centuries from a horror story, in which Fa He heroically battles the evil snake demon, to a romance, focusing on the thwarted but genuine love between Su and Bai.